Well, for more on the future of Bitcoin, I'm joined by Sean Stein Smith. Sean is an assistant professor at the City University of New York, Lehman College. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So as we saw, the fresh 15-month lows hovering at about the $3,000 mark. What's causing this current slump?
Well, I would say that the current slump in prices is caused by a handful of forces, right? One are those ongoing hash wars that are currently raging in the whole Bitcoin space. Probably the other big driver of this whole price drop is this changing in the outlook, right? From an oversight point of view. Here in the U.S., there have been a few actual enforcement actions brought against individuals and institutions in the ICO space and in that broader sort of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency area. And then three, sort of this whole changing mindset from an institutional point of view, right? Because blockchain had been awfully hyped in 2016 and 2017. And so now, at the end of 2018 and going forward, the whole attitude is changing more from a hype cycle to more of a actual proof cycle.
And that certainly does come with a maturing market. And we know that there are a lot of retail investors were popping in at first and kind of trying to get in and get out and score a big win. So what, if anything, though, do you think is going to be the real turning point for Bitcoin?
So the whole turning point for Bitcoin, probably the biggest headwind right now, is the total lack of guidance or frameworks, both here in the U.S. and on an international basis, in terms of the treatment for them for tax purposes, and then also how these coins and tokens can actually be used by consumers, because I do think that's the biggest opportunity out there, right? Once these coins and tokens, be it Bitcoin or other options out there, can actually be used to buy goods and services, that's going to be that big turning point.
And in deciding how to approach cryptocurrencies, there's a lot of discussion as to whether Bitcoin should be considered a currency versus a commodity. How important is that distinction, especially for regulators?
So the whole debate between whether Bitcoin is a currency or a commodity is a huge deal, right? So it's a technical choice, but it is going to have a impact on how these coins are treated, taxed, and also the exposure that individuals and institutions are going to have both now and going forward from a insurance point of view and also from a hacking point of view too.
Now, have we seen any major developments from governments around the world on how they view crypto, or perhaps developing their own, especially in places like China?
So the whole conversation and debate on whether or not a government or a country should actually have their own Bitcoin or a version of it is very interesting, right? Because the whole purpose behind Bitcoin was to actually open up the markets to individuals and other institutions to have access to capital outside of those normal channels like the ECB, PBOC, and all the rest. But a conversation going on is that whole question, right? Should these governments and nations build out their own currencies? And it has been a hot topic during 2018, but as of right now, there has not been too much done yet.
So is this then a matter of time? I mean, how much do central banks need blockchain or digital currencies to really modernize their finance sectors?
I would say that really it is almost a matter of time before some central bank, right, either here or overseas, adopts or then rolls out a version of their own cryptocurrency or a currency based on a underlying blockchain model. Because, as you said, it really is up to the banks to update their own IT backbone to keep pace with the market.
Now, if that does happen, being that the central banks would then make it a centralized currency, what does that mean for Bitcoin?
That's a very interesting question, right? Because, again, the whole idea of Bitcoin, it was to be a open source model of currency. And so if it comes back in-house to a institution or a nation state, that is going to challenge, I believe, the individuals who actually created this whole movement to actually make a choice, right? To either be a idealist or to then update themselves and to adapt to a market that is evolving.
Tough choice indeed. Thank you so much. Always good to have you. Sean Stein Smith, assistant professor at City University of New York, Lehman College.